It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. It is Notre Dame USC week. To say everything is on the line for both sides, I think would be an understatement. This is a big one. And if Notre Dame wants to show what everyone saw in primetime weeks 1 and 2 is not who they are now, this is your chance. It's not Navy at night, whatever. It's not whatever you're going to do against Pitt or whatever. Like, those are important. This is your chance. If everyone was wrong and the perception of you is wrong and you are not what you put on film in front of the whole country in prime time weeks 1 and 2, this is your chance to prove it. And what I like about it is, by the way, welcome in. Thanks for starting your Monday. I realize some people might be off work today with the federal holiday, whatever. Welcome in. Lots to talk about. Everything's on the line. If you lose, the season's over. You have 3 losses. You're not in the playoff, and you have 5 games that aren't going to excite anybody to run out the year, and it's all about development of CJ Carr and the young defensive players and whatever else. This is a big moment for Marcus Freeman. And here's the other thing. Before we even get any further in this, I'm going to throw this out there. And credit to Andrew Gilmore on kind of re-triggering this in my head via text. Marcus Freeman's got to protect Notre Dame Stadium better than he has. Marcus Freeman needs to protect Notre Dame Stadium better than he has. And it's like, okay, I understand. Ohio State beat you there, and they're a top team or whatever. Like, you should have won, whatever. Yeah, but it's the Marshalls, and it's the Stanfords, and it's the Northern Illinois. And if you lose this one, I know it's to a decent team, but now you have 2 home losses again on the front half of the schedule before we even get to Halloween. You got to protect Notre Dame Stadium better than this. Like I think people would be okay if, like, you lost to Ohio State or whatever, like the top team that comes in once in a while. You got to protect your home field better. And you can't lose to the big boys and some small ones at home or whatever. And then this one would be both big boys, but you got to protect your home stadium better than that. You got to protect your home stadium better than that. So for as much credit as Freeman has earned and deserves for the playoff run and how many games he won in a row last year, that's all true. Marcus Freeman's done a lot of great things. One of the things that needs improvement to me is you need to protect your house. You need to protect your home better. Freeman's 18-5 at home. Well, it's fine. I want him to be 8. I want you to protect your home stadium better. There's just a little too much comfort of people thinking they could come in there and win in our place, and I don't like it. Okay? Now, the good thing is, you're going to have a hell of a crowd. You're going to have an energized crowd that's into it. It's the night game, the full thing. You're going to have that energy. There is a big difference between these afternoon day games and these night games against big opponents. It is night and day as far as the atmosphere. I'm sorry. And then the other thing is, like, some of our listeners here are in the fancy suites. And before the game, they're showing me a video. There's like 2 people there in the whole section in the fancy suites for NC State. Like, you just don't get the juice. You don't get the juice for like an NC State or whatever in the afternoon. You don't. But I'm surprised some people showing me, here's the luxury suite that's paid for all year and it's empty. Like, it's just hard to get Notre Dame people excited for an afternoon game against NC State. But this is a big one, man. Your season's over, or you moved up to 13th in the AP poll. If you win this ball game, you're right back in the playoff mix in a good spot. If you win out, obviously, but it positions you in a big spot. I had been following the polls pretty closely up till now. The one that came out yesterday, I glanced at it and I just went, I mean, it's no big deal because it's either all blown up or you really get invested in it. There is no in between. It either all gets blown up or you double down and really get into this and you're rolling. So this is a big one and you got to be prepared for it and you got to take care of business. I would hope all of these, everyone involved with the Notre Dame program is so angry and pissed off and frustrated with the way those first 2 games went. I would like to think they come out firing on all cylinders. They got to know this is their next chance in prime time to change the narrative and get this thing going and beat a talented team. And whatever you want to say about Lincoln Riley, and he doesn't have it fully figured out at USC, like he doesn't. That guy knows offense. He knows quarterback play. He's looking at some of our defensive stuff, licking his chops. So all this improvement we've done the last few weeks and whatever with Ash, they deserve credit for that. Some good offenses on paper. You slowed down. This is a different animal and you need to have a plan and you need to execute it. And the number one plan is you can't let Lemon run it all over on you in these open zones. And he's all, no, figure out what you're going to do. I don't know, whatever. If you get a bracket the guy, whatever you got to do. I'm sick of seeing these slot guys burn us. And it happened against Miami with Tony, and it happened in A&M. I'm sick of it. It can't be a surprise. Figure something out. Figure something out. So I don't know where you guys want to go today. There's a lot going on in college football. If anybody actually wants to talk about, so John, if we limit USC to lower points, Ash and his defense are legit. Good question. Everybody's been asking, is the defense back? Is the Notre Dame defense back? What do you think? Talk to me on the post-game show after USC, and I'll have a good answer for you. So, I love everything you've been doing against these other teams, but it's not USC's talent, and this is your next big test. So you're going to find out. There's no deadline that I got to pick right now whether the defense is back or not. Put a winning effort on the field against USC, and now we're talking. Touch base with me on the post-game show. Touch base with me on the post-game show. No, I actually don't, Commander. Something must have went in there that I didn't see to delete. But yeah, that is toxic. No, I don't want that. No matter how it goes, 50% of my audience is upset. It's a losing argument. It's a bad business plan. So no, that's not okay. I just must have not seen something. This is a big one, man. It's everything. It's the crowd versus NC State was pathetic. So quiet. And again, though, you guys, callers, keep it coming. I'm going to go to you. 703-415. Keep it coming. 312-900-8815. Wherever you want to go, we could go today. You're like, the crowd is quiet and that's so lame. The argument against that is you're playing NC State at home in the beginning of the game. You didn't look that good and it was too close for too long and you had problems or whatever. Like, what is there for the crowd to get fired up for on that? Right? Like I get what you're saying of like, you want the crowd to be in it or whatever. Well, where's the obligation of the team to give you a reason to get in it? When you're slogging through a first quarter and it's kind of close against a team that you think you should be able to beat by more, and it's a non-brand name helmet or whatever, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? Everybody's going to stand up going crazy when you're sleepwalking to start a game against boring NC State? You're just not going to get a lot of juice, man. You're not going to get a lot of juice. So some of it's on the team to provide some of that spark. But those afternoon games against non-elite opponents, there's just a cap on the excitement, probably unless you're undefeated, ranked number 2 or whatever, and every game is a big moment for that. Like, I don't know. But I do give Notre Dame credit. When it is these big night games, the crowd's pretty good. People are standing, people are getting loud. It'll be an electric atmosphere. So anywhere you guys want to go, we could go. You want to talk NC State? You know, I made the error of thinking. Maybe we'll have a day or two of people wanting to dissect NC State or whatever. The second that game was over, it all turned into USC. Like this, I was thinking maybe we'll have a day here to be able to talk about NC State or whatever. Even when we did do that, it morphed into what you could take from NC State and apply to the USC game. So, like, we could talk NC State if you want. We could talk USC if you want. If anybody wants to pitch in on James Franklin, what's going on with that whole drama, you could, who they might hire. 2 questions. Who does Penn State hire? Because the one thing you cannot do is say, I know you had a bad year this year, but Franklin wins 10 or 11, 10 and a half games a year or whatever. If you made the decision that's not good enough for you and you have that standard, the one thing you got to make sure of is you don't regress. You can't hire a guy and the new standard is 9-3 or 8-4, and you fired the guy who was 10-2 most years. Like, so they got to make sure they get the hire right. And then for James Franklin, what does he want to do? He could do anything he wants. He could go golfing with Jimbo Fisher and they could gamble a lot of money per hole and be just fine. You could take a year off, a whole nother year off. You could do media. He could just sit and chill and do nothing for a while. He could get an early jump on jobs that are opening or might open to kind of get a plan with his agents behind the scene. What's going to open? Where might I want to go? Or he could just be done coaching, take all this money and go retire and live a good life. And he can hug his daughter all the time, not in front of the cameras after a national embarrassment. I don't know. The options are endless. When you get fired and you have $49 million coming, you can do whatever you want or do nothing that you want. Do nothing if you want. Here's the other thing with this. The easy thing to say is it seems like Cignetti would be a good fit for Penn State, like the way that guy is or whatever, and the success he's having. Cignetti kind of thinks he's building the next Alabama at Indiana or whatever. Like, I don't even know if he would want to do that when he's doing a good job at Indiana. They're rolling. He seems to have pretty good support there. Like, I don't even know if that's in the cards. The way Cignetti thinks, he may think he has everything he needs in Indiana and he's riding that thing and you don't need to go start over somewhere. So I have no idea. Yeah, the new theory is Cincinnati, the Bengals head coach gets fired. Al Golden gets the head coach at Penn State, and then Mickens comes over as the DC. I've been seeing that. So I don't know what's going to happen. That's a lot of tying a lot of things together. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Will USC's running back 1 or running back 2 be back? Didn't they have a running back injury, but the guy that came in for him was like doing just fine against Michigan. So I don't know. And then what is the truth? What is the truth of, is it just Michigan's kind of down this year or USC's kind of better this year? It's probably in the middle, you guys. It's probably in the middle that like, I don't know, USC played a good game and Michigan's kind of down this year. It doesn't have to be all one or the other. It's probably right. The truth falls probably right in the middle. Congratulations to Indiana on beating Oregon. However, everybody knows the best team in the state of Indiana is Notre Dame. I bet you Cignetti would like to test that theory against Notre Dame. Though that guy's got unbridled confidence. You got to respect it the way he keeps winning. Great win at Oregon. I know people are starting to question how good Oregon is. It's not an easy place to fly out to and win. That's a huge win. Really, really good win. And then here's the other one. I see some people saying, oh, Marcus Freeman for Penn State or whatever. Why? Like, are you trying to sell me that Penn State right now is a better job than Notre Dame? I do not believe that. Marcus Freeman just had to build Notre Dame back up, kind of tear down a roster, try and start over and rebuild it and do all this. Why would you go to Penn State? That does not seem like an upgrade to me in resources, support. Like, I don't see Penn State as like a step up in brand or support. I don't. So I don't understand that one at all. I have no idea where that's coming from. And I don't really see that as like a program that's a clear jump, easier to win at than Notre Dame or has more resources. I just don't. So I don't know where that's coming from or how anybody can convince me Penn State is 5 notches above Notre Dame and it sets you up to win better. I do not see that. And it's like, well, they could drop a huge bag of money. Yeah, I mean, I guess anybody could drop a huge bag of money, but I don't feel like that's the only thing that drives Marcus Freeman. And maybe I'm wrong. I just don't feel like that's the end all be all for that guy. So I don't know. All right, let's get into this. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny as well. Notifications on so you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, or Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see John's face. Nobody blames you for that. ND on SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. Monday Night Raw tonight. Link in the description. Myself and Mike Goolsby breaking it all down. Be there or be square. So anywhere you guys want to take it today. NC State, USC, Franklin. How about Indiana? Anything else going on around the country? Yeah, Brian Van Gorder to Penn State. Joe Nolan. I despise Signetti. You could despise the guy, but he just keeps winning. Not against Notre Dame, but like this year, kept winning. Good for him. Let's see what happens. You know what else I want to give credit to here? While we're giving credit to people I don't like, I want to credit Ohio State. I believe they lost almost their entire defense off last year's championship team. And it almost seems like they're better at defense now. And obviously the DC and all that. It seems like they're honestly better now. The consistency of Ohio State is what Notre Dame strives to get. It's just you lose a bunch of guys in the NFL, you have more NFL guys. You lose a bunch in the NFL, you get more NFL guys. So it's almost impressive to me what they're doing kind of under the radar because it's so consistent that you just like, it's not even really being talked about that much. Good for them. That's a really strong program. It's a really strong program and I'm jealous of it and whatever. But their defense, I'm serious. I think they lost like almost all their key contributors and I think they're better actually. So on defense, so it's unbelievable. And you know, the talent they're going to have on offense. So I don't know. Yeah, it's the Chad Bowl, the Irish Cubby. Will Chad come dressed up like? There's a lot wrapped into this game. And here's where I'm going to tie one thing for me. Then I'll do the super chats. Then we'll go to the calls. Here's where I'm going to tie NC State and this run of wins. The entire run of wins Notre Dame's on and NC State. Here's how I'm going to tie it to USC. These wins, most of them have been impressive. You've kept the score down, the defense playing better, whatever. In these wins we've had lately, there are these things in the postgame shows where you go, yeah, Notre Dame won. It would be nice if you clean this up or you clean that up. It'd be nice if CJ hit the open crossing. Was it Pauling across the end zone, wide open throw? It'd be nice if you hit that. In the last game, you had 3 drives going into score and you ended up with 0 points. You had a fumble and some failed 4th down conversions. You left like literally 21 points at least out on the field. You wish that didn't happen. Defensively, there's still some things where a guy bites on a double move, their legs get twisted into a pretzel, and you look like a fool on the back end. Notre Dame's done enough to be able to win those games by enough margin that you just kind of talk about it as an item you'd like to see improve moving forward, but you were able to win by multiple scores. You could live with it. That's all over this week. I always talked about the first two games, the hardest part of them being you don't have margin. You don't have margin to not play that tight and still win. When you play the talent of Miami and A&M, you don't have that margin. We didn't have that margin. You messed around and you got beat both times. This is one of those days. You're not going to have the margin. That means CJ Carr, when you have a chance to hit a throw, you're going to have to hit it this week to beat USC. I don't see Notre Dame winning by 3 scores comfortably no matter what happens. No. You're going to have to hit those this week. This could be a CJ Carr week. He's got to hit it when he's got chances. You can't have a fumble going in from the 2-yard line or whatever. You can't have 3rd and 4th and short and 3rd and 4th and goal from short and not get it. You're losing to USC if you do that. So that's where I tie in this recent run of good play from what we've seen into USC. All those little extra things that bugged you where you're like, yeah, we won by a lot, but I don't like this. Clean it up. CJ, not sharpest pass in the last couple of days, whatever. Defense, pretty obviously giving up 7 points. Can't complain that much about, but some of the little mistakes, like that all has to get cleaned up this week. You don't have the margin. So when CJ Carr gets a shot, you got to hit it. And you got to figure out your short, down, and distance, what you're going to do. And it doesn't look like it's Wildcat, and it doesn't look like it's rolling out to the short side of the field, and then there's nothing, and then you have the plays dead. So I don't know. I'm going to ask this. Then we'll go to the calls. The bank's filling up. When you're inside like the 1 or whatever, I know you don't have Riley Leonard anymore, but how is the thing with the best odds not having CJ right under center, getting the ball and he falls forward a foot instead of messing with something where you go backwards on your own 4 or 5 yards? Am I just a dummy with the X's and O's? But when you're that close, I realize it is not Riley Leonard's huge 6'5", 250, whatever frame. I realize that. There's no way you can. I just think the likeliest odds of getting it in is the quarterback falling 6 inches forward rather than a play that puts you 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and anything dumb could happen. If you don't have the O-line play and run blocking to be able to just hand it off to Price or Love and then they pick a gap and run it in. If you don't think you could do that, and the pass blocking has been way better than the run blocking in situations this year, just do that. Just do that. Here's another idea for those. Why can't you have Love and Price out there at the same time, and then you're snapping it to CJ Carr? And the defense has so many things to worry about. Is Carr going to throw it? Is he going to run it? Is he going to hand it to Price? Is he going to hand it to Love? Does one or Price or Love leak out for a pass? Whatever. Like, it seems like we're making it easier for the defense to defend us down there by limiting what we could do off the look we present. You can't find a way to cause maximum confusion and get Price and Love out there and the ball in Carr's hands, and any option is an option. It's super frustrating. We've been bragging you have the best running back tandem in America, and you can't get in the end zone with either one of those guys? That's really frustrating to me. Let me give you another idea. This is an opposite idea. Spread out the defense on those downs. Have a back there, but spread things out and have a bunch of wideouts and a tight end and do whatever. And if you, instead of having everybody jam right in the middle, I'm even open to spreading it out And you can run off that look or throw off that look, but it's spacing out so you don't have 10 bodies right at the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. Doesn't help when Price fumbles at the 2. Yeah, absolutely doesn't help. That's how you lose to USC. Like all of the Phil. You never let me down, Phil. There's never been a time you've let me down. You keep on winning, Phil. I'm just saying this all needs to be cleaned up. Here's the other thing too. And I got a feeling about this, and somebody put it in the chat. You got to think Marcus Freeman, special teams, Mike Denbrock, whoever. There's got to be a couple things coming we haven't seen yet that they're saving in their back pocket for USC. And I don't know if that's a tricky special teams play. I don't know if that's something we've seen on offense that you haven't seen yet that's a surprise that you think you could get them on, whatever. Maybe it's finally you do the wildcat and Love throws it off it to Raritan wide open. I don't know. But I feel like there might be something coming in this game you haven't seen yet that they're holding on to, either in the passing game or something tricky. This would be the time to pull out whatever it is that you got if you think you need it. So that's where I'm at, you guys. I'm very impressed. Notre Dame's won all the games they needed to build this into a big game playoff moment. But you need to tighten up a lot of the little stuff that has not been a big deal in on the winning scoreboard, but that you're not going to get away with against USC. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. And so this is a big one. You lose and your season's basically over. It's over. And I realize the team can't look at it that way. Freeman can't look at it that way. They're going to want to win every game or whatever. But for the fans, if you lose this game, the season was a failure. It's black and white. There's no middle ground, new quarterback, new defense. I don't care. The season's a failure if you lose this game. There's no argument. And for the fans, it's all going to be about development of CJ Carr and development of the younger guys on this team. That's it. It's all you're going to have. You can't go for being in the championship game and then expect people to get excited about the Frosted Flakes Bowl or the Pop-Tart Bowl, whatever. No, not going to happen. So everything's on the line. You got to win this game. But that number 13 ranking, it's like, yeah, I like seeing it, but it can only last a handful of days if you don't take care of business at home. So this is a big one, man. Lincoln Riley needs it. Marcus Freeman needs it. Something's got to give. But Carr, you need to be sharp in this game. And the defense, you need to keep doing what you're doing. Limit the big plays. Limit the yards after catch. Limit the yards after touch. You can't have these big busts that are 60 yards in the back end. You can't do any of that. Think you're going to beat USC. So you got to tighten a lot up. This needs to be a game where it all comes together. Okay, super chats, calls. We'll get into it. Our secondary is going to have its hands full Saturday night. They better be locked in. Yeah, might need their best play of the year. Signetti's not going anywhere. IU pays him, sports him well with Portal money. He's only lost 2 games. No reason to leave for Penn State. Yeah, Penn State's an interesting job. We'll see who they hire. It's an interesting job. You can't do all this and get worse. The sitting level was about 10-2 for the guy you fired. You can't bring in a guy who lowers it to 9-3 or 8-4. So I don't know. It is, Tex. Defense has been impressive since second half of Purdue. Still have some ire with Ash and figuring out personnel groups. Yeah, they figured that out better of who can play where and when. The evaluations in camp were wrong. They thought some guys could play in spots that they couldn't, and it took losses to figure it out. That can't be. And I know some people say it's a new DC and you don't really know what you have till you see him in a real game or whatever. Well, that burned us, man. That burned us. Tex. USC will be targeting Golden and Gray, trying to match up Lemon on both of them. Be ready. You got to have a plan for Lemon. I'm sick of seeing these slot guys burn us. Craver, Tony burned and burned, man. Led directly to our losses. That is a weakness for Notre Dame and a strength for USC, and you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. So I don't know. It's rough. Look at that. The line really started at Notre Dame 7.5 point favorite. Wow. That's a little high for me. I know you usually get 3 for a home game. It'll be interesting to see if that comes down a little bit. Can't you just push for a dang yard? I would like to think you don't need Riley Leonard's body. I think CJ Carr is capable of falling forward a yard. So I don't know, man. Whatever. Franklin and his team knew he was out after the game. You could see it on their faces. Yeah, man. It's amazing. If they beat Oregon, they're undefeated right now. I'm convinced none of this happens. If you beat Oregon by 1 point, none of this happens. And they're undefeated and they think they're winning it all and everything's fine. That's the knife's edge and how quickly your fortunes change in college football. None of this happened. They were completely devastated, emotionally crushed after the Oregon loss. They built everything up after the loss to Notre Dame in the playoff, pointing to Oregon. It was everything. Everything they did for this year was circling Oregon. They put everything into it and they lost it. They couldn't recover. They could not emotionally recover from that game, and it's all unraveled. This is an interesting way to look at it. Southern Cal is the rival. Michigan is the enemy. I root for the Wolverines to lose every single game until they cancel football. Ralph, a strong Southern Cal is good for ND. This is a double-edged sword. A strong Southern Cal is good for ND when Notre Dame beats them. A strong Southern Cal isn't good for Notre Dame if you lose to them, right? Like, am I wrong or am I weak-minded for seeing it that way? A strong Southern Cal is good for Notre Dame if Notre Dame beats them. But if they're so strong you lose to them, it's no longer good for Notre Dame. Here's the interesting thing about James Franklin. His first loss as Penn State's coach, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, whatever. His first loss was to Northwestern for homecoming at Penn State. His last loss at home against Northwestern at Penn State. Wild. Absolutely wild. This is the other side of the argument. USC could lose every game they play. I don't care about them being good for Notre Dame or not. Yeah, that's an argument too. Especially if you're a person who believes 10-2 Notre Dame's in the playoff, no matter how it looks, and no matter what the strength, there is an argument. 10-2 Notre Dame is in no matter what it looks like, strength of schedule, how much you blow people out or not. There is and I don't know where I fall on this, but there's a group of people that believe that. Then you would want Michigan to beat USC, so they're all down and out, miserable and whatever. Now they're going to be having a vibe. Can't wait for this epic tailgate. That's a reminder. East of Touchdown Jesus. Look for the flag. Look for the setup. It's not in the parking lot. It's on the ground at Notre Dame. Tailgate, USC. Come holler at your boy. And then right before the game starts, I'm hopping in the car, driving home, listening to the first half on YouTube TV or whatever, and then I'll be here to take your calls. I can't miss the call-in show after USC, so I'm going to the tailgate, and I'm coming home to be here for you. That's dedication, baby. Dedication to the cause. Couple super chats, then we'll get to the calls. $10 holler from the rotate. Still not 100% convinced on the defense. I feel like if they trusted the defense, they wouldn't literally go for every fourth down and refuse to punt or kick no matter what. Some of this, you had a kicker problem. So, some of that is they didn't think they could make a field goal. So you had that problem. Your questions about, here's a good thing about USC being this week. You're going to get real answers. You're not going to have the nuance of is our defense kind of decent again, but you still don't like it? Or maybe we just didn't play good teams that could burn us. You're going to get real answers. There's no doubt the Notre Dame defense has improved from the first two games. You're going to find out how much. That's the deal. There's no doubt they've improved. You're about to find out how much. Is it enough to hold that USC offense down? You better hope so. Pilney, $10 hour. Imagine we are Penn State because we used to be. The best thing BK did was leave when he did. man, those Penn State people were booing that guy so bad, dude. They have like a tunnel. When you go in their tunnel, there's like an underground hangout where there's like bars and stuff and fans could be. So even when they go into the tunnel, there's still fans there in like a bar area or a hangout lobby area. I don't know what you call it. They're booing the guy. Man, it's rough. It's rough. But hey, you're making a lot of money. That comes with it. Franklin and Kelly are great twosome for a tandem jet ski. Brian Kelly, tricky road game at Vanderbilt. 11 o'clock start at Vandy. That's going to be really interesting. Big game for Kelly this week. Rodney, $2 Aller. Ashwood from crash to smash. We're going to see. Could crash back out if you don't take care of business against USC. $10 Aller. Pilney. Power I formation, Price and Love. How about some misdirection? The better the defense, more effective misdirection. Tom Pagna during the snowball. Like, you got to re-envision whatever you're doing because it ain't working. It ain't working. And it is super frustrating to have these backs and not be able to get in the end zone or get these short yardages. Really frustrated. $10 Aller. Pilney again. Love puts both hands on the ball when going into contact, but Price doesn't. Price has 2 fumbles and Love has none. Why the running back coach doesn't coach this up is beyond me. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. And it's just, if you're going to have that happen, I guess you're just like, well, I'd rather it be now when we're going to win by a few scores than against another team. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's never okay. You don't want it to happen. You're just like, I'm glad it isn't against USC and we need that score to win the game. I don't know. My voice is still rough from booing Saturday. Was it the refs or the play or a little bit of both or what? What was it? All right, let's get to the callers here. Let's see what everybody thinks. 703, what's going on, man? It's been a while.
Is it me, John?
Yeah, it's you. What's up?
Oh, hey, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I figure you got the day off work, so you're able to call in. Is that the deal?
Yeah, I can't forget about you, brother. If I'm off, I have no excuses not to call in.
Man, I really appreciate it. Looks like the last time we spoke was when fall camp was getting started in early August. A lot's transpired in Notre Dame land. What do you make of where Notre Dame's at and the big opportunity in front of them this weekend?
Oh, Lord, I tell you, that first 2 weeks, I don't have much hair. I have a lot less hair now. I had a bad feeling that Monday, the Saturday before. Then the Texas A&M game, that's a game you just can't lose. That was on your racket.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe how bad the defense was.
You could be 1-1 and be totally fine. You couldn't lose both of those games. And I think Miami earned the win against us, and we gave one away against A&M. That's how I see it. It's really painful.
Yeah, and I know people won't love to blame Buckner for the drop. He can't do that, but let's be honest. They took over if the kickoff return would have stayed good, I think we would have won the game. So that actually probably hurt us more.
But when you play that bad at defense, my pushback is all the complaints about the refereeing and all this stuff is, and even Buckner, when you play that bad at defense, you're asking to lose, man. You earn a loss when you play that bad.
Now, you can't give the referees a chance to do what they've been doing, especially the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 chances to put the game away on the first 2 drives. And we failed. And we kept the teams in games because for some reason, Denbrock's a very good offensive coordinator, but he has flummoxed me so much this year. Let's get to the first game. I don't mind them coming out C.J. Carr passing, but at least make it over the line of scrimmage. Maybe he's worried about the offensive line, and we didn't run the running backs until the second half. Then they finally let C.J. Carr pass. We scored 17 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Then we're doing the rollouts now on short yardage. When we did that against Arkansas, they're bringing the guy underneath. Let's run the guy up the middle or to the side a little bit. You know, bring 2 backs in there. If you want to do the damn wildcat, which never works for us, bring a guy in motion so you can fake the handoff so somebody's moving away from the middle of the field. He's smarter than me. It's just frustrating.
My argument with the Wildcat is if you're going to do that, you may as well take Carr off the field because he's not going to be an effective, efficient blocker. So you're automatically losing the numbers battle. You're not gaining the advantage you're supposed to gain doing that. Take him off the field and put a fullback blocker in there or somebody else, another big tight end or somebody, because you're losing the advantage. So I don't understand that part.
Yeah. I'll tell you that defense during the Purdue game, I was like, Marcus Freeman, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. The disgust he had when he got interviewed. But ever since that half, think about it, the first 10 quarters, we gave up 91 points.
Yeah.
And the last 14, we've given up 34. And one of them was a garbage touchdown at the end of the game at Purdue.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to find out this week if we're really legit. But the only thing that gives me hope is we're actually starting to bring the linebackers. We're using their athleticism, which we weren't using the first 2 weeks. They had Bowen just reading and reacting, sitting back. He needs a guy who needs to come downhill.
Yeah, they are.
Stop putting him in zone coverages and stuff.
They are playing a little more aggressive, and the team is reacting and responding to that. The other thing is USC piled up, 225 yards on the ground against Michigan. And Notre Dame's been doing a decent job against the run. That needs to continue. I know one of their backs, at least one of them got hurt, but the backup guys seem doing just fine on Michigan. You can't, we're all worried about the pass game. You can't forget, you got to play good run defense too.
Yeah, that's the key. If you could make them one-dimensional like we did when Caleb Williams here was 2 years ago, because when they beat us when we were out there in L.A. the first time with Riley, they actually ran the ball really well on us.
Yeah.
Then 2 years ago, they didn't. And last year, it was deceiving how many yards they got because they got like 75 yards on that last drive when they scored a touchdown after we had to back big sixes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But the thing is, they cannot let this guy be comfortable. I'd rather go down, bring in the blitz, and getting passive on 39, having a guy catch a ball in the mid area because we don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
Play our guys. Just be aggressive. And I love number 9. That guy is going to be a monster, Johnson. And everybody else seems to be playing pretty well. We'll see. Of course, I know Golden got beat, but, that's a freshman mistake. But you see the talent there. And, this is our Super Bowl.
Yep.
If we can just get through this game, you can see we probably will make it. But the thing is, the Navy game's squirrely because I still have Brian Kelly, TSD from TDS from him losing twice and Weiss losing. Then also, if you watch Pittsburgh this week, I don't know how good Florida State is, but that quarterback's pretty damn good. And their running backs caught like 17 passes for like 200 yards.
Yeah.
And they're quick. They're little scat backs.
Yeah.
And that made me a little worried. But you know what? Like I said, this is the week we got to worry about. This is it. If we win it, I really think we're going to make it. And don't let us in the playoffs. That's the only thing I want to say.
Yeah,
With this offense.
This is everything.
This
is everything.
This kid is so unbelievable how good he is. Is he perfect? No. Did he miss a pass last week? Yeah. But the thing is, everything he's completing 66% of his passes, and they're not dinks and dunks. These are passes down the field. He's averaging like 12, 13 yards a pass attempt, not a completion attempt.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
It's nice to see a guy make a big throw on 3rd and 8 and get 15.
Yeah, he's going to have to be sharp. He's going to have to hit on the chances he gets for sure, man. Hey, I really appreciate you giving me a call whenever you're off work and available, man. You're one of the first people I think I met with when I started going to South Bend and people wanted to start hanging out with me when I was in town and we met up and had a beer. I always appreciate that, man. The years fly by.
All you do, and can I ask you for a favor?
Yeah.
I can do. My mom recently passed away, so can somebody light a candle for her?
I'll get a candle.
I would appreciate it.
I will get a candle lit this week for your mom. I just send a text and it'll get lit, man. Hey, thank you for trusting me with that project.
I sent one on their Twitter to you, and I know you haven't responded because you're busy.
Perfect.
When it happened,
I will. I'll make it happen.
Her name's Donna. Thank you.
I will make it happen, man. Thank you. God bless her. Have a good one.
Yeah. God bless you and go Irish.
Thank you. Have a good one. Oh man, I like that people entrust me with their grotto things, man. That means the world to me. Something else. I'm talking about you got to be able to make these plays in this game to win it, right? Notre Dame's defense, as bad as they played the first 2 games, had multiple passes thrown right to them, where if you just catch the ball thrown right to you, Notre Dame probably wins. That's hard to get over and accept. As bad as you played, as many mistakes as there were, balls got thrown right to our defense and they didn't make the plays. Not even like extremely hard interception. Like balls were thrown right to our guys. And if you catch them, you're probably winning those games. Here's your next opportunity. If you can get your hands on a ball, you got to catch it. DJ Brown. Like, come on, man. Catch the ball. Rodney, what's going on? Good morning, brother.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, it's USC week.
I know. I'll be there. I got the day off. Was able to switch some things around because I was kind of worried I wasn't going to be able to make it, but I will be there. You said it starts at noon?
Yep, starts at noon. I'll probably get there right around then, and then it goes right up till people are going in the game. So come find me.
All right, awesome. Yeah, man. I was thinking about something. I meant to say this a few weeks ago, and I keep forgetting to bring it up on the show. And I think it's an interesting thing to think about. This goes back kind of to the Weiss years and some things that were said, and Brian Kelly to some degree. And I'm wondering if this might be some of what Notre Dame's problems have been in terms of implementation. I remember Weiss was talking about how smart Notre Dame players are, and how quickly they pick up on things. But I'm wondering if they overestimate their smarts and throw too much at them, and then realize, like, we're in the college game. There's a lot on their plate. They might be smart, but they have a lot more to do during their week than an NFL player who only has to worry about football and has a lot more practice time and downtime to read those playbooks. And it seems to happen quite a bit where you hear this. I think Al Golden mentioned it, like in his first season, we had to scale some things back. And I'm wondering if this problem with Ash was he just threw too damn much at them because they are smart guys and they do pick up on things quick. But at the same time, you see what I'm saying, John? I'm wondering if it's like all these coaches, like, and I'm not saying it's ego per se or whatever, but, they obviously have their own, if you're trying to spoon feed something to somebody, you have to figure out, that's why communication is so important. Like, you may know everything, but how do you take that knowledge up in your head and then, manipulate it in a palatable way for those that are 18, 19, and 20? I mean, that was what obviously doomed the Van Gorder era. That guy, I'm sure he was a brilliant mind but he had no way of being able to communicate that. It seems like, some of those things that Urban Meyer said about Ash being a great communicator. Well, it seems like that, at least in the evidence in the last 3 games, he's started to do that. I'm really been impressed. Like you said, this is the week, because let's face it, man, our 3 biggest tests of the year were Miami, Texas A&M, and now USC. You can't lose all 3 of those. You just can't. Forget the playoffs. Obviously, you can't lose them for that reason, but anyway, I got a good feeling about this game, but I think I got a feeling USC's coming to play too. So this could be a great game, man. I got a bad feeling I got a good feeling we're going to win, but I got a bad feeling it's not going to be as stress-free as we normally like. I just, that was an impressive win, USC had over Michigan the other day.
Yep, they're gonna come in feeling it, and listen, Chad wants this win. Lincoln Riley needs to beat Notre Dame. Like, Notre Dame needs to beat them. This is what it's all about, man. This is what it's all about. This moment.
Trust me, I hope it's like it was 2 years ago when we just annihilated them, with Caleb Williams and all that. But I don't know. I feel like this one's going to be a little closer. I just do. I think we win it. I do. But and then you got that Navy game a couple weeks after. I'm not going to go into all that because obviously, this is the big one that we were leading up to after
Rodney,
the first 2 losses.
There are some tricky moments on the back half of that schedule, but I am all like, get me to that bye week with 2 losses only, and then I will start to worry about Navy and Pitt back to back and what that could be. Like, I'm just not there yet because it all depends on USC. And then if we're in playoff position, I'll worry about it in a different way. You got to get this one. CJ might have to go out there and make some of these throws he's missed the last few weeks. Like that, you got the defense. When you get a chance, you got to make it happen. Like this could be one of those games where 2 to 3 plays makes the difference. And in the first 2 ball games, we're on the losing side of that equation. You need to flip the script.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I almost wonder these last couple of games where the offense hasn't been quite, even though we won by a lot of points. The fact that we haven't been, as sharp might be kind of a good thing going into this game where you don't have a false impression of who you are. You still got some work to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, do you see what I mean though, John? I kind of glossed over it and then went to the next point. You see what I mean about that whole coaches overestimating the intelligence of Notre Dame players?
Yeah, and sometimes you just can overthink it, man. Like sometimes the most
Yeah.
obvious basic answer is the correct one. You don't have to overthink everything. Sometimes I think coaches get in their head and try and they just overthink it and overanalyze it. Sometimes the basic
It
thing
happens
is,
all the time, John. It happens all
Yeah.
the time. Like I said, it happened. I remember Weiss mentioning it. I remember, obviously the Van Gorder situation. Brian Kelly, when he first came in, I remember he had that. Remember when he first got hired, he had this high pace offense he was trying to throw at them, and it completely changed, the way they played football over the next several years when he went to more of an NFL style, slower pace, realizing that time position does matter. I see this happen so often with new coaching regimes coming in, or where they're so impressed by the Notre Dame the intelligence of the Notre Dame athlete that they throw everything in the kitchen sink at them and then realize they still have to scale back. So I just thought that was interesting. That's really all I got, John. I can't wait to see you guys on Saturday and celebrating a huge Irish win.
I hope
Saturday
so.
night.
Hey, we'll be in touch. We'll see you Saturday, Rodney. Thanks for calling, buddy. Oh, boy. Oh, Kent's here pouring rain on our parade. This isn't what it's all about. It's just another game. Beat this team that lost to Illinois and act like you're a tier 1 team. Act like you're the runner-up. Kent, you're just trying to make my people upset. You know that where Notre Dame's at in this particular season, that this game is the Super Bowl. You know that. If we lose, we're out of the playoff. If you win, you have hope that you could get in at 10-2. You know what a big moment it is. And whatever happened, I'll tell you this, Kent. There is no scenario where USC sleepwalks into South Bend in a night game in prime time when both teams are ranked. The way USC slept into Champaign at 11 a.m., which is 9 a.m. LA time, in sleepy Champaign, Illinois. There's no way. So it's a totally different world here. USC sleptwalk. It was the trappiest trap ever, going to Champaign, Illinois at 9 a.m. their time. Like, it's not going to happen. So USC is going to be ready. And Lincoln Riley, in his offensive brain, he sees some things he likes about Notre Dame's defense. So, Ash, let's see what you got. Lincoln Riley doesn't have it all figured out yet at USC. He doesn't. He's not a perfect polished product coach, but the guy knows quarterbacking and the guy knows how to draw up offense. And I guarantee there's some vulnerabilities here. He's looking to get matchups to expose on Notre Dame. I'm telling you, Tony Craver absolutely sliced and diced us. I'm not letting Lemon do the same thing. I don't care if it means you're exposed in other places on the field. I'm not letting a third one of these guys burn us. Craver and Tony, burnt toast. It can't happen again. Cannot happen again. Okay? So that's where I'm at on that. Okay? Adam, what's going on? Good morning, brother.
Good morning, my buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. I am exploring everything in my mind of what this USC game, how it could look, how it could play out, the stakes, everything. This is a big moment.
Yeah, I think you guys have all been hitting it, right on the head there. This is the epitome of our entire season, and same for them. And they know that, and they're going to be feeling that And I guarantee you that Lincoln Riley is telling them that, because the loser of this, especially us more than them, is definitely out as far as the playoffs go. As far as USC goes, they still could possibly sneak in somewhere weird in like some kind of Big Ten championship if all hell were to break loose or something to that degree. So there's like one inkling of hope, but the majority of their chances are gone as well. So the importance level is there on both sides. And there's not a chance that USC, especially after last year, with us, pick sixing a 100-yard back-to-back in their own home. I don't see them coming in here at all just going, oh, okay, big bad, Notre Dame. I think they're going to be coming in going, we deserve to win this. And we better be prepared for this one.
Yeah, and they're going to have a lot of confidence. USC's a program that always rides momentum up and down. Sometimes it works for them, sometimes against them. You could say what you want about Michigan or whatever. That's a really, really good win by USC. Like, say whatever you want about Michigan or them being down or whatever. Really, really good win. A lot of momentum. I haven't seen a health report yet from USC of who who's banged up, who's coming back, whatever. I don't know. And then I just, Adam, you got to take advantage of opportunities. When Carr's got an open guy, he's got to hit it. When you're in the red zone, you need to score 7. When the defense has a chance for an interception, you got to catch it. Like, this is the game where everything needs to come together. In these rivalry games, sometimes 2 to 3 big plays change it all. And we've been on the bad side in the 2 losses. You got to make up for it here.
And that's exactly why after the NC State game, I was saying, yes, I'm so excited. Another only 7 points given up or whatever. But I was sitting there saying, we have to be more crisp than that, because the athletes that are coming into town are going to be way more better. They're going to be so much better than anything that we've seen, at least in my mind, from what I've seen out there. Yeah. I just, Miami brought it. Texas A&M, their 2 wideouts torched us. But these guys, they could beat us, like, as far as like where we're down double digits. They just can, because they make these ridiculous types of catches. They're very athletic. They're fast. And I'll tell you another thing that they did with Michigan that was very impressive was they did literally it would be hike the ball, 2-step drop, and just sling it over and over and over again in the beginning. And Michigan had to back off because they couldn't bring the heat. They couldn't get to him. And when they did try to get to the quarterback, he was so elusive. He was just dinking and dunking. He's just all over the place. And he was able to get away from them and get the first downs or extend the play enough in order to get the first down that they needed, by passing or whatever it was. So this just has a lot of just the old school feel of like, here comes USC with all their athletes. And then how much of the time of possession can we have in order to keep them off the field? Because the last thing we want is this defense to get gassed out because we go 3 and out, or we're missing passes, or we doing something like the Wildcat or whatever it is, and we keep giving them opportunities offensively. We got to flip the script. We have to keep the ball in our hand as much as possible, march down the field, and then score, and then put it right back on them, and have our defense just shut them down. But we also can't be playing soft on these guys. Yeah, this is a type of team that, you play soft on them, man, they're going to start just ripping it home.
Adam, with CJ Carr, let me present you something that's been in my head. Tell me if you agree or not. A part of me wants to believe CJ Carr might play his best in the brightest lights when it matters the most. Like, when you look at like some of the inefficiencies the last few games we've been winning with Carr or whatever, like, a part of me almost thinks his DNA is that he will dial it in and crank it up more and like thrive more with more on the line against a high pressure, high stakes team. And it was kind of hard to judge that the first 2 games of your career, but even just a handful down the line, I'm wondering if he doesn't play his best in the brightest lights. I need it. Maybe I'm just saying that because I want it and I need it.
Johnny, you and I have been wanting this, and so has everybody else, for so many years. And this is where it all comes down, right? Can he be the guy? To be the leader on the field, to be that Joe Montana, Tom Brady on the field, the general that's going to be telling everybody what they need to do, and at a very young age, too. The guy's a freshman, for crying out loud. Like, he's coming in, and he's just like here we go, or sophomore, whatever it is. But he's young. He's only been in however many starts. So the idea is that if he can become this person that we've all, been wanting, we absolutely can win all of our games, and going into next year, even continue to compete for a national championship.
Yeah.
But I really hope that he does, like, as far as the bright lights and everything like that, and the sleepy 12:30 start or whatever it is. Well, 12:30 my time, but it's just like that stuff's got to end. It's just got to end, because it has to be where you come in firing on all cylinders, all three phases of the ball. And actually, I'll put it in the fourth phase, and that's coaching as well. Don't overthink it. Do what you need to do to win the game. Put the people in position that they need to be in order to get this W. Because, like you said, for the players and the coaches, 100%, that game, if we end up losing, it for them, the season keeps going. But as far as the fans and as far as the playoffs and all that other stuff, that's a wrap.
Yeah. Yep. This is it's a big moment, and the build up to this is going to be fun. And it's a must win game with all the pressure in the world. We're going to see how much Notre Dame's improved. Adam, thanks a lot, man. Always appreciate the post game calls too. I love the excitement in your voice when Notre Dame wins.
Absolutely, my man. It's just like you said, it is all genuine. Just wear my heart on my sleeve. Go Irish, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one. Take care. Yeah, that's a good question. Good question. What is the update on Ashton Craig? Does anybody have one, or is that you're not going to get it till today when Freeman speaks, or what? Is there an update on that? No, I didn't see anybody had any answers on that. Mark with glasses, what's going on? If I can hit the button, there we go. What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
It's USC week.
Things.
That's what's going on. It's USC week.
That is what's going on. But looking at NC State real quick, and Andrew touched on this last week with the scheduling, so I looked it up, and since 2017, we're 42-4 against the ACC.
Man,
that includes a 30-game win streak, and 30 of those 42 wins are by double digits. I thought that was freaking kind of hilarious. And to Andrew's point of his call last week, and I had a bunch of stats written down about like short yardage and stuff, but I'll just go off of Pete Sampson's tweet that 3rd down and 4th and 1, we're 7 for 14. And, having 2 of the best running backs in college football, and I'm over here sweating bullets if we can get a yard, is inexcusable.
It's really frustrating.
And
it's really, you got to figure it out. And you've tried a couple different things and none of them have worked. So you got to come up with a new plan for USC, I guess.
Yeah. And last year we were one of the best 4th down teams, 73%. I think we were ranked 7th in the country. Now we're 117th. And it's like the ability to get a yard when you need a yard is kind of went from a strength to a weakness. And it's, halfway through the season, it's really embarrassing that you have a top 10 offense. We're 7th in scoring, 12th in yards, 6 yards per play. And then every time we need a yard, we're all scared shitless.
Yeah. Andrew Gilmore, Andrew just put in the chat, finish the tweet. We are more successful statistically at 3rd and 7 than we are 3rd and 1. Which is, it just tells you it makes no sense. It's like, you got to figure it out. Come on.
But my biggest question is, why can't we have 2 of our best players on the field at the same time?
Yeah.
Not only more often, but for the biggest, most important plays of the game that continue these drives.
Yep. I love the diversification that offers you in terms of what you can run in the play. And I also love that it makes a defense wonder. It puts doubt in their mind. Who do you cover? Is it a run or a pass? You got 2 dangerous backs and the quarterback's going to have the ball. What are they going to do? I like presenting that look.
And Goolsby has been saying it for weeks, where Love gets more attention than anybody else. So, use him more as like a gadget player and motioning him in and out of the backfield and stuff. If he draws that much attention, and we're having a hard time getting one freaking yard.
Yeah.
And we all know, Price is damn near as good as Love. Like, have those two guys both out there so they have to both account, because our quarterbacks can't run. So get two guys out there that can. It's really mind-boggling that he hasn't come up with anything at this point in time when we're this late in the season.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. And it's like you love the ability of Riley Leonard to be able to get all those short yardages with relative ease. But the part you didn't get from Riley Leonard is opening up the passing game and some of the stuff you're doing there. Like it's like you lose one thing and you gain the other, but they got to figure it out. And you can't waste drives against USC and think you're going to win. Points are at a premium.
Exactly. And the ability to extend drives was such a strength last year. And now it's so questionable. Like I said, all these instances where it's as good as this offense is, it just shouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Every 3rd and 4th and 1, we need to take a 5-yard penalty to back it up to make it more easier for us. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
freaking unbelievable.
It's so frustrating. All right. Before I let you go, let's flip it over to the defensive side. Are you buying back into the Notre Dame defense after these 7-point performances? Like, are you buying back in, or are you wait and see USC and then talk to me?
I'd wait and see, but there is a lot to like. I think we're 23rd in the country in rushing defense. We're 30 or 31st in scoring defense. We have the 7th best second half defense. So if, I'd apologize to Chris Thatcher if it weren't for the first 2 games where we had all that time to prepare for game 1, and then we had 2 weeks to prepare for game 2, and it looked the way it looked.
Yeah.
But so he's off my hot seat, but obviously this is kind of the measuring stick game. So, and I also feel like if you want to look at it this way, that he's failed his 2 tests, and this is the 3rd one. So it's like, he passed all these other, games that are basically, like taking gym and art and music. So it's like, this is your 3rd test here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the one you got to get. And if you do, we're having an exciting discussion over the off week, and you have a couple weeks to gear up for what comes next. And if Notre Dame loses it, then the whole outcome, the whole outlook on the season changes, and it becomes developmental and about CJ Carr and the younger guys, and it's a failure, and there's no middle ground. This is it. This is everything.
This is it. This is big. I was going to play Digger Phelps yelling beat Southern Cal, but my iPad's still charging. But I got Notre Dame 45, USC 30. Saturday night post-game show is going to be an all-timer, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, good or bad.
Shout out to the chat. See you on Raw.
See you on Raw. Take it easy, Mark. Oh, I love that, man. I love that, man. If you're on old, you are going to be on the air. 478, what's going on? 404 coming up after that.
Hey, Johnny.
What's up?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to get this big week going. And this is a big one, man. Notre Dame's got a big chance prime time to show those first 2 primetime games were not who they are. It's a big opportunity.
Fully agree. I have 1 point of contention and 1 question. The point of contention is the crowd. I mean, I get it about the sleepy games and everything. Can we stop having ushers tell people to sit down?
Man, are they still doing
environment
it?
That's created by the administration.
Are they still doing that? Because I thought it was lightening up
Boise
with
State
that.
game, they even talked about it. Fans of Boise State were talking about like how the ushers were telling people to sit down around them.
Maybe it depends on, maybe there's this unspoken rule at Notre Dame where if it's a big game at night, you're allowed to stand and nobody yells at you. But if it's an afternoon game, you're supposed to sit, because the bigger games at night, that has not been an issue where a lot of people are standing and into it the whole time. So maybe that's a sleepy day game.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think that creates the environment naturally. Like if it's just an exception, then the rule is sort of you got to be polite and everything. Can we just stop it? Especially if you go back and look at historic videos.
It's a complicated.
It was wild and rowdy.
It's a complicated equation with the Notre Dame fan base and a lot of the money that a lot of the fan base has. And like it's not ever going to be exactly what you want. Like the fan base is really interesting and the blend of people. It's very interesting.
I mean, I agree to how it's become. I just look and go, my sister's 9 years older than I am. And she went to St. Mary's. So she was always going to games. I was going to games since I was 9 to 13. I probably went to 40 games over 4 years. The environment back in the early 90s was different than when I've gone back now in 2020. Like, it's evolved into this state. And if you go back and look at the 88 game versus Miami, the crowd was rowdy and wild.
Yeah, and the pricing.
I mean,
with the pricing inflating over time as much as it has, you're pricing out some of the rough and rowdy regulars. Goolsby talks
blue collar locals.
Goolsby talks about it all the time. He's like, John, in the mid 90s when they would scan the crowd, you see a bunch of Gary, Indiana pipe fitters in their overalls. You know what I'm saying? And they're in their Carhartt overalls and they're like hardworking men and they love their Notre Dame football, damn it. And now it just feels like it's more money and we're too cool to do that. And everybody, I don't know, man.
Wine and cheese,
But I will say the big night game environments, the crowd is getting a lot better. Like Ohio State in 23, the playoff game, like the big night games. I think people are understanding it's going to be a little rowdier. You're going to be expected to stand. It's going to be a late night where you get home late if you're not staying and have to drive. Like that's a totally different ball game than them sleepy 2:30s against nobodies.
I agree. I mean, I was at the playoff game. It was the best environment I've ever been there, and I loved it. But it's now going in. I live in the South now, so I've gone to a bunch of games at a bunch of other stadiums. A day game at Ole Miss. Ole Miss isn't a big stadium. It just has more of an environment.
It's
just different.
It's a different vibe, and I've been fighting this battle forever. I'm at least glad the big night games are getting the attention, and I do want to say this though. There would be a more loud crowd for the afternoon games if Notre Dame came out and just beat the hell out of somebody early and was up like 28-0 in the first quarter against one of these lower mid-tier teams. Then dragging it on into the second quarter and it's a one-score game against a team you don't think's that good. Like, you're not going to get that much energy then. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. I agree.
Yeah.
My one question, though, so last year, the USC game, everyone after the fact was talking about how Al Golden switched to try to play zone, and that was such a disaster.
Yeah.
First 2 games of the year this year, Ash more zone, although the stats didn't really bear out, but I think that was the big confusion, all the questions about how we're playing zone. Do you think that this is sort of grabbed hold now, that they're more confident playing zone? Because you're not going to be able to lock them down. Lemon is disgusting. He's going to be able to get his spots. It has to be like a pro thing, I think, where you say, let him go 60 yards and then stop him on a third down and force a field goal or force a fourth down conversion to be missed. I think it's just going to have to be. But do you think that we've actually been able to teach zone properly?
You better. It's a good question. It's like, I don't know why I'm laughing, because I'm half scared, I think. Here's where I'm going to start with that. To start with that, you could argue 2 of Al Golden's worst games were 2 matchups with USC. Like, so you could argue, even Al Golden, that you loved his defense overall, you could argue his
100%.
You could argue 2 of his worst games as DC and Notre Dame were trying to defend USC. So maybe you should give Ash a
100%.
chance. I'm serious. Maybe you should give Ash a chance, because that Al Golden had problems with that too, and you got bailed out with those interceptions last year, right?
100%. And that's the one question that did Freeman look at this and go, okay, the problem is in these big games, when you play Ohio State and USC, unless you just have some random luck with recruiting and development that you get 2 lockdown corners, you're playing man to man. But even then, nowadays with slots and everything, I mean, you need nickel to be a stud. Do you think he looked at it and go, we need to be effective as a zone, and why he brought in Ash?
Yeah,
in the hopes that this development would lead to these games and going, it doesn't matter yet. In NC State, you can just pick on them.
Yeah.
The talent disparity is so big, it doesn't matter. But these games, if you have an effective zone, and I'm curious to see what he really Goolsby and Hyde talk about this, but I'm just cautiously optimistic this is what the plan was.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, those guys last night on the Sunday night show, Goolsby and I, they were talking about you got to have a plan for Lemon. And if you need to bracket him or whatever you need to do, you cannot let another one of these guys burn you the way Craver and Tony burned you in the first 2 games. So you got to have a specific plan for Lemon. And I realize it's like, well, if you're giving him all this tension, something else could happen. Yeah, those are the decisions you have to make of what you are willing to what are you willing to live with? And if you're you got to make a determination. I'm not letting Lemon beat us. And if he wants to whip it to somebody else and we're exposed there, fine, but we're not letting this guy beat us. Lincoln Riley knows quarterbacks and offenses. He still hasn't put it all together as a full operation as a team. He knows offenses. He knows quarterback play. He's going to try and set Notre Dame up here big.
Yeah, 100%. And the slot with Lemon, like Nichols hurt. We're down to what, third string. I mean, Golden is true freshman playing nickel. It's scary. I don't know if they say, hey, Moore, you're 24/7 locked up with Lemon, and just do that.
And you know what else, too?
Maybe,
you know what else we need to talk about? Devonta Smith, man. Like, you're not getting – that guy's making a lot.
That injury hurts.
He's making a lot of money in Notre Dame, and you can't rely on the guy. And the note, when you ask people when he transferred, the story was, if he's under %, yeah, you can get a lot out of him, add to the team, but his availability is a problem. And sure enough, he's not available.
Yep.
So I don't know where that leaves you.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I'm worried that it's going to be a shootout, but that seems to be the number. Although the over under is as high as I would expect it. It seems the sports books and the power ratings know far more than like us as fans.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just looking at it objectively. If you look at the spread and the numbers the last couple of weeks, I was completely out on the defense after Purdue, and I told every single person I knew to bet the over on the Arkansas game, and it only hit because Notre Dame hit the over. I mean, it was shocking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens. I don't have great feeling, but optimistic, I guess.
Yeah. And it would be really advantageous for Notre Dame to do something good early, keep the crowd engaged, get some leverage early, gain the advantage. Like this is big time, man. And so I don't know, but this is a big moment, and it's your measuring stick. You had the 2 big games you failed in, and then you had a few to get right, and you've done the job there. Now it's time to measure this and see exactly where you fall against a skilled team with everything on the line. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for the call on a Monday.
I mean, the only other thing, do you think there's any, other than animosity towards Bowden, however the hell you say his name, do you think there's any strategic thing that he knows about Freeman? And that's the only question I've been sitting here wrestling with. I mean, I'm not sure he was an X's and O's guy, but just, do you think he has any insight on the sort of mentality of Freeman? Because he was with him for a long time.
Yeah, you would think that there would be something there that he thinks he knows how Freeman thinks about things, right? If you were that close for that long, even though even though he wasn't like a coach on the field, like you're around enough, I do think there's some general things that he would know, but it isn't like he was a coach in the meeting rooms for the breakdown of what we're going to do. So I think there's probably some of that, but not, I wouldn't think it's a huge factor.
No, it's just if there's something like, and hopefully this is true, because I agree with the previous callers. Like, why aren't they using the two? They use two backs versus Miami, and then it just went away.
Yeah.
And are they holding it back to spring on this, like a big game like this? Because everyone can look at this and go, "You're two of the 5 best athletes you have are running backs."
Yeah.
Put them on the field together.
Yeah.
And Jalen Sider did that a lot at Penn State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also the irony there is I think that was sort of something that he did a lot, or pushed for a lot at Penn State.
Yeah, it's so I don't know, man. We're gonna see. And Notre Dame's gonna have to play a good game to win this one. You're not gonna be able to miss a bunch of opportunities on both sides. We're gonna see what happens. Thanks for the call on a Monday.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
Have a good one. To answer this question, 404 coming up. And my main man Martinez too. Quantum, as a former funeral director. Now, I want to make a correction. I was never a funeral director. I was the cemetery guy. So I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. There's the funeral director part, then there's the cemetery part. I was the cemetery part that managed all the cemeteries. So not a funeral director. Are you planning on writing a movie, a comedy based on your experience? What would that look like? I'm going to tell you this. Very, very weird industry. There's nothing like it. Everyone who works in it. Yeah, I wasn't even a grave digger. We have union guys. I paid the union guys to do all that tough work. Opening a grave in the middle of winter when there's snow and ice and it's 30 below and windy and you need to dig a grave. I got union guys that I paid to do that. You know? So I was more in the office, selling you the grave, selling you the monument, meeting with the family who would come in crying because their kid drank and drove and died on the 4th of July. It happened every year. I was the one meeting with those families, figuring out what are we going to do for this, you know, whatever. Unique industry. There's nothing like it. Everyone that works in the industry has a unique mind, because not everyone can deal with this every single day where your business is death, 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 death. You got to be comfortable dealing with death and all that comes with that and the people that come with that. It's a very unique thing. Very, very unique thing. You wouldn't believe the stories, the weird stuff that happens, the behind the scenes stuff in the funeral burial business. Some of it is, it's a weird world. And I got some stories. I'll tell you real short. The funniest thing I ever did, this would happen. I got all these cemetery locations like in a county. And then it's like, well, this urn needs to get to that cemetery for the funeral to bury the urn at that time. And this urn gets FedEx to me from Florida. And I got to get it prepared to do a burial across town in the other place. At any given time, I could be driving around town with 3 or 4 or 5 urns in my car. Try pulling into a fast food drive-thru to get something to eat when you're in a hurry for lunch. And you got 2 urns in your front seat buckled in and a few in the back. You should have seen the looks I was getting from people when I'm driving these urns all over town. They thought I was a creep. Oh, man. 404. What's going on? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, John. How the heck are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, it's only Monday, but my USC, the rumble inside me for what this is going to be and what it means is already starting to kick up. And so this is going to be an exciting week with a big matchup.
Dude, that's how you know you're still alive, when you got a pulse for a game on a Monday and you're like, dang, how's it not Friday? So I'm with you. I think last time I called was, I want to say, leading up to Purdue, so not quite as interesting of a time, but I'm glad we're in, at least right now, we have room for optimism again, which felt so far away just a month ago. But your stories on
dude, you're right. You are right though, man. Like, you had the 2 disappointments, and then you really did improve rapidly. The defense looks a lot better and more put together. The offense hit a really hot spot there in the first few games after the first 2. Now is the next real measuring stick, right? A team people respect, a ranked team, a rival at your place. This is your next big measuring stick. You're going to find the truth of how much better the defense got and where this offense is at. I can't wait to see it.
dude. And we were able to go a few years ago to the Caleb Williams game, as we call it. And the going into that one, I was like, man, if we even just, it's weird in retrospect, like looking back at that game, because it was just a rough start to the year and everything. It was kind of that feeling of, well, if we could just give them hell for a little while, at least I just don't want to get blown out. Then it goes the other direction, which is awesome. But we'll be there again this year, and just wanted to call in because I had not had the chance to meet you in person any of the previous tailgates. So I don't know that we'll be able to stop by for too long. We got a little tailgate action of our own going at the bookstore lot, but definitely will come by, shake your hand real quick, and lead you guys to the Portillos and all the festivities. But, I'm glad you'll be there.
You know what, man? It's kind of the best of both worlds for me because I get to be there and feel the vibe of this big game moment building in South Bend. And then I'm going to drive back and be here to do the call-in show. So it would be nice to stay for the game or whatever, but I have an obligation to open these phone lines. Whether we're happy or sad, I have an obligation to be here Saturday night. So it's just going to be a long day with a lot of driving, but this is how it's got to be. So I want to feel the vibe on campus and get back here for you guys.
Yep. And, going back to your little side tangent there for a second ago, I was just chuckling to myself, like, yeah, speaking of, funerals and ashes and everything, and this rivalry going to, probably dormant for a little while. Like, dude, I want to see us just bury this freaking team this week. Like, I think the defense it is the prove-it game of all prove-it games. If you look, so at the last time we had a coordinator in this position, it was more or less that Ohio State game a few years ago, really. I mean, it almost feels like Ash is on a Parker kind of status, like a 1-year sort of guy potentially. And, they had some good results strung together leading into that made us think, oh, well, we can put up 28 points in Ohio State. So same kind of thing here, just inverse with the defense is, oh, we've held some teams to, nothing in the second half and put some pressure on, force some turnovers. But I think the magic number, we got to hold this team under 28. I feel like it's a race to 35. I don't know if that's just my gut instinct right now. We'll see what comes this Saturday, but dude, that's just, I feel like to what you said earlier too, you do want to see us take away or help out the nickel situation. I mean, that can't be the way we lose this game. I'd rather Mayaba's looking, maybe we're disguising some coverage and he has to look off that first one. And then there's a guy that pre-snap isn't where he is post-snap in Mayaba's mind. Then he tosses us one of those easy ones. Like, we got to get those easy. Like, there will be one or two. Like, we'll look back on this game one way or another, and I think there's going to be one or two, maybe 3 points where we can get our hands on a ball. Defensively, we got to make those picks, man. I think that's where this game's going to be won and lost, just like last year.
Yeah, it's you got to take advantage of any opportunities you get, and that goes on both sides of the ball, man. And you need 7s, not 3s, on offense, and 3s, not 7s, on defense. Like, you got to take advantage of your opportunities and make plays. This is a big one, man. This is what Notre Dame USC should be all about. Playoff stakes on the line. Both teams feeling kind of decent about themselves. This is what this battle should be like. I'm excited.
I got one more question for you. I know Main Man Martinez is up next. Working man, I got my day off today for what they call Indigenous Peoples Day. Let's get it straight. It's Columbus Day. Okay, just kidding. But one last question. I'm curious if you're open to the wrinkle of on a 3rd and 1, a 4th and 1. I know Buckner's still kind of in the toilet for everybody, but we always talk about having Carr out there makes it 11 on 10. Buckner might make it 11 on 11, or Minchie for that matter. Would you be open to seeing a change at quarterback in those short down positions to try to open up just one extra gap for the backs to be able to exploit?
If you are going to continue to fail in that moment as bad as we have, as long as we have, then I think you got to be open to doing something different. Like, if it was moderately good, you could debate it. But if you're going to fail to the level we failed, I'm not against anything you could try that would be a little more efficient. I just know you can't waste those opportunities and think you're going to be USC. So you better figure it all out.
100%, man. Well, John, appreciate you. Let the show continue, but I want to say thanks again for all that you do behind the paywall as well. Thoroughly enjoying that. And for anybody on the fence, just freaking do it for a month. It's $20. You'll see that you don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need anything else that ends in breakdown or starts blue or anything like that. So go give it a shot if you haven't. But John, I'll see you Saturday. Looking forward to it. Go Irish.
Hey, thanks for the promo there. Really appreciate it. I'll give you guys this. Something interesting about the funeral business. And I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but being in the Chicago suburbs, the most dangerous funerals we ever did were gang member funerals. Because what you have a lot of time is retaliating strikes on the opposition when everybody's at a funeral, because you know where everybody's at and they're vulnerable and they're all together. So there are often shots taken at funeral processions, or there's people sitting somewhere and then around the cemetery. And then when all the oppo is gathered right there, they take shots at them. So what we had to do is when we had to bury a known gang member that died in gang violence, we would call up the police and say, we got this gang situation. This guy was murdered, whatever, and we need some protection here for our workers and everything. They would literally drive cop cars. You would have the hearse in the middle and cop cars on either side, so that nobody could shoot in at the living family or the closest people. And then at the cemetery, I'll never forget this. We had one that was really bad. It was on the news, like on WGN News, what happened here with this gang guy and the shootout he died in on the courthouse steps. Like, it was very public. And I'll never forget it. We literally I made the call to the cops. They said, we got it covered. We'll have your back, whatever. Don't worry about it. They were literally in camo, hiding in the trees beyond the cemetery. There's a highway. There's a highway in the back. They literally had one of those trucks that made it look like it was for road work, but there's a bunch of guys in there that were looking at what was going on. There was long, like, wispy grass in the nature area of the cemetery, and they had a guy with a fake thing with grass laying there. It was amazing, but you got to be careful. You never know with that. So those are dangerous. And my workers, they're like, dude, we're just trying to dig a grave and bury the guy. We don't need to be getting, like, attacked here. You know, it was very, very interesting. But anytime we had a known gang funeral, it was very interesting. I'm going to tell you who we never had a problem with, ever. Biker gangs. Regular gangs, problem. Biker gangs, the most respectful people I've ever worked with in the burial industry were the biker gang people. They take care of their own. They respect the grave. Like, they want to do every shovel of dirt. Each guy in the biker gang would pass the shovel, and they wanted to do one at a time. Not even have my guys bury it, but they wanted to do it. They paid on time. They were really respectful. They were grateful. They were thankful for our help. It's one of those looks can be deceiving because they got the cuts and they're rough people. Even the women are rough in that whole life. But they were always respectful. Anytime we had a biker gang funeral, they were super respectful. And they usually had one lady that was like the mom of the group that kind of did the business end of it and figured out the plan for the funeral. I thought that was really interesting. Multiple different biker gangs. And they always had like a mother hen figure, like a rough lady, but was like, knew how to have a touch with it. And it was really interesting. All of the people I'm talking about paid in cash. All of the people I talked about paid in cash. I'll give you this story. One of the gang burials, the guy's cousin got murdered, whatever. We had to bury him, his cousin. Who's that dude? Tekashi 69 or whatever? With the wild rainbow hair and the face tats, that whole Tekashi 669, something like that. This guy looked just like that had to come in and pay me for the burial or whatever. And his homie died, his cousin, whatever. They're all in this gang. And I gave him the amount of what it was going to cost to bury. And it was like $5,000 or whatever it was, right? This dude says, all right, give me a second. He goes to his car and he comes back in with a pistol case, like the square where you lock your gun and it has the code. This dude walks in and he's a straight up banger, man. And I'm me. He walks in there with that little briefcase where it's usually a gun. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I charged this guy too much. Now I don't like this. He does the code. He opens it. It's like a movie with the rolls of hundreds in rubber bands. It was unbelievable. Most money I've ever seen in my life. This dude on the back meeting table does the code, flips it open, rolls of those hundreds just like the movie in rubber bands everywhere. And we literally just sat there and we counted it out and we did 5,000 and we just did hundreds and 1,000, hundreds, 2,000. And he gave me the money and he left and we didn't have a problem. But I admit there was a second where I was going, why is that guy bringing a gun case into my office when he's a known reputable gang member? I'm a little concerned. Anyways, so most times it isn't like this, you guys. Most times it's an 85-year-old grandma who doesn't wake up. Nobody's devastated and you bury her and we all move on. But every once in a while you would have these very, very unique burial situations you got to watch out for that have unique circumstances. Those are a couple that come to mind. Really, really interesting. My main man, Martinez.
Man, look, he doesn't know how to wipe his ass because this looks like shit over here, man. Have him come clean it up. Oh, John, sorry. Are you there?
Look at you laying down the law. That doesn't look good enough. Clean it up.
I'm sorry, but am I clear? Sorry, guys. Sorry, chat. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yo.
Johnny.
Yeah.
You got me? Am I clear?
Clear enough.
Hold on. Eagle, are you there, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. What? You don't even get the day off or what? For the holiday or what? They got you working?
Nah, brother, we got to grind. We're not. Utah's a right to work state, brother. They don't have unions out here, really.
Yeah.
Not masonry unions. Not masonry unions. They got plumbers and they got iron workers, but not really masonry unions. No.
Got you,
So,
man.
Yeah, we're grinding, brother.
I respect your grind. I really do. Now I know this game means a lot to you, USC. What do you make of it?
Hey, so man, I'm excited, bro. I don't think we can sleep on USC. I think that early loss that they had to Illinois, the fact that they've down talked them, man, they got some athletes, man. That Maivia, he's a gamer, bro. You know what I mean? And he's poly dog, so he's gonna come with his A game. You know what I mean? He's tough. Them Polynesians are tough. We know we got a few of them on our team, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as far as okay, hold on, John. Let me shut this off, man. Oh shit, I can't. So the game, man, I'm excited. I talked to Tom for about an hour on Friday, man, and I know he's gonna go down there and meet you. And I think that the defense has finally started to gel. Like I said, I didn't realize it, and a caller a few calls back said, as far as Ash, I think even Mark was back saying as far as Ash, I'm not gonna completely say. I mean, I can say I was wrong because I don't know who made the changes, behind closed doors. We really don't know if it was Mickens, Marcus, or Ash. But we do know that he's down there and he's involved. You see it on the news. I mean, not on the news. Excuse me, on the TV. And so whatever they did, all three together to really start getting that secondary to gel. Because our linebackers, we know, right? Luke says it, everybody says our linebackers are the best position group that we have, man. They really are. Max Bola has those dudes ready, man. That's such a defensive coordinator in the making right there. If not a head coach, man. Why he doesn't interview more, man, is beyond me. He's such a beast. But anyways, that defense, man, really impressive. Really impressive Saturday, you know what I mean? Because a few times we did leave, like you guys said, we left those points on the board and they stepped up where they needed to. We can't do that against SC. Like we said last year, that game is neck and neck till Gray makes that interception, till Watts makes that interception. Right, John?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking forward to it, man. And just one more thing real quick, and I'll let you out because I know it's kind of loud here. What was I going to tell you? That display, like I was talking to Tom for about an hour, and it's funny because he sent me a picture of him and his daughter at Notre Dame, and I said, hey, and I sent a picture of me and my daughter at Notre Dame. I said, hey, are you sure that our daughters aren't related? They got the same damn smile. You know what I mean? And the reason I say that because with Franklin being fired, call it a football decision, call it a money decision, call it a wins and loss decision. But the display of those Penn State fans shows how trash they are for them to behave like that in front of his daughter, man. I'm a girl dad, you're a girl dad. I am so grateful that people from around everywhere say when they go to Notre Dame, they win or lose, that they are the best fan base that I have ever come across, man. That is such a display of dog shit ass behavior from those fans, man. From a guy who took a team that know that a university shouldn't even ever exist after what happened.
Yeah.
With that shit, you know. With that, sorry, John, I don't mean to stop that S word. You know, I hat off to James Franklin for having the courage for all that, but as a coach, obviously couldn't win the big games. And for being a girl dad like that, man, and that is such a disgusting display of fanship, man, on Penn State fans, and that program shouldn't exist just for those reasons alone, too, man. John, hey, brother, I love you, doggy. It's really loud. I'm sorry. Hey, man, I can't wait for USC week. Man, wish I could make it. My girl is a USC grad. She'll be wearing her USC stuff, but she roots for the Irish when they're not playing USC. It's going to be fun, John. I love you, buddy. I can't wait for the rest of the shows, the rest of the week. Onward, Notre Dame.
Have a good one, man. It means the world to me to have a guy that's at work think to call me. That means the world to me, man. I'm going to bring up one more thing. People find it interesting with this graveyard thing. I don't know how this turned into it, but it is interesting. Here's one more thing you got to think about. All of the burial industry you're a victim of history, right? The way these cemeteries are gridded out, mapped out, things that are in the ground for 100 years. Like you're a victim of historical records before computers even. Like a note card would say, bury grandma by this tree from 100 years ago. Like all these records. So many times, you know, I would look up what grave Granny's going to be buried in. My union guy goes to dig the grave with the backhoe and he goes, John, you got to come out here. We got a problem. I go out there and the problem is there's already somebody buried there that wasn't listed, right? Like anything could happen. You have all these problems. Anything could go wrong in the ground. Like just the vaults shift over time. So then when you dig a grave, the other guy's casket's halfway in your grandma's grave, and I don't have room to operate, but I got to hurry up. But they want him buried by grandpa. And if you don't, you're going to get sued and it becomes John's fault. Like you're a victim to all these problems with the ground, right? Like, and the old records, and they get rougher the further back you go. Anytime the groundsman would go, you got to get out here. We got a problem with this grave. It's son of a buck. Somebody's buried in the wrong spot. Where are we going to bury this guy? No. And the other thing is, you got to be perfect. You only have one chance to bury your loved one. We cannot mess anything up. Do the mapping wrong, and we've had funerals, not for me, but where they show up at the grave for a setup and it isn't the right grave. Somebody messed up the paperwork. Like you can't have any errors or you're getting sued. It's that simple. So it's just, it's tough out there, man. It's tough out there. So you never know what you're going to get in the ground. That is a real issue. It is a real issue. You never know what you're going to find. Or how about this one? They do the little gathering blessing in the little chapel when you're going in a mausoleum wall. Do you know what I'm talking about? It isn't a grave, but it's like a piece of granite square in a chapel. The front goes off, your casket goes in, then they close it, put your name on it, right? Imagine me respectfully standing in the back waiting for this funeral to arrive for a guy whose family wanted to see him put in the wall, right? And I'm standing there, and the casket comes in off the hearse, and I immediately notice it's an oversized casket. The guy was a bigger guy. It's an oversized casket. And I know just from looking at it, there's 0% chance this casket's fitting into that opening. What do? You got 100 crying people there for the family, and they want to see them go in the wall. And I'm the guy that's got to say that isn't good. It's just math. That rectangle ain't fitting into that square, bro. These are the kinds of problems that made me want to do this full time. Like, it's so uncomfortable. You got to be the one to be like, we have a problem here. Somebody I have on my little burial list. Do we have an oversized situation? And there's nothing I could do. Like, those are all of the instances I found myself in. Sweating bullets in the back of the chapel saying, bro, it's just not going to fit. And they're doing the blessing. And when it's over, they all want to watch him go in. And I got to tell them, can't fit. You either got to go back and get cremated, or, I hate to say it, get a smaller casket, go back and squeeze the guy's arms over his chest so he'll fit in a smaller casket, and then bring him back the next day and put him in the wall. I'm sorry, like, these are the practical things I dealt with day to day, these little problems you don't think of. I've literally had to have them go back to the funeral, switch into a smaller casket after it's no one's seeing the guy anymore, cross them arms and legs, and jam a guy in a smaller one so he could go in that wall. These are the issues you deal with, man. These are the issues you deal with in the cemetery business. Don't get me started on divorces and exes and who gets the family plot. And we got a combo monument, but we want it sawed in half because we hate each other now. You wouldn't believe it. A lot of these people, they don't even care about mom being put in the ground. They care about the inheritance and being able to sell the house and get her jewelry before they close the casket. And you could see it a mile away, the people that are like that. A lot of people were like that. So yeah, people think it's a boring business. Oh, John, none of your customers complain. Yeah, none of them do, but all of their annoying, entitled families do. Let me tell you that. I'll give you an example. You bury a guy, and there's a 6x8 cutout where you had to dig the grave, put the guy in, and it's dirt, whatever. 2 weeks after the burial, the family's in there screaming at you. They're going to sue you. And it's like, what's wrong? Why isn't there full grass in my husband's grave? This is disrespectful. Bro, we just buried him a week ago. When was the full grass going to grow? We just buried him a week ago. You got to work with me here. That's disrespectful to my dead husband. What? You guys know my personality. Can you see why I lose my mind in those situations? Oh, man. 559 on the line. What's going on?
What's going on, John? I'm hearing everybody all animated and ready to go for this game. I think it's going to be something that we need to... yeah. I'm sorry, John. I'm at work, man.
That's all right.
What you call it? John, I think we just got to worry about Notre Dame, and we need to know what's going on. We need to figure that out. Once we get that sorted out, we need to run this ball. We need to stay vigilant and violent with SC.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
To the metal type of thing.
Trouble hearing you. All right, we lost him on that one. We can't win them all when these guys are at work. We can't win them all when these guys are at work, man. I'm just telling you. 949, what's going on?
Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I do actually think that they're going to end this rivalry. There's no way, right? I mean, USC's going to, I don't know. It's such a great game for the sport. I hate to see it go, man. Even when we were in the worst of it, in the Bush era and all that. I mean, it's great uniforms, great teams. I don't know why USC is trying to get out of this.
Yeah, it's that kind of slowed down, right? Like, I thought they came out right before the season and said they were open to trying to figure out every way to keep it going or whatever. Like, I don't know. So, but then that kind of cooled off. And now I don't really know the status. I'm unclear.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. I think I'm nervous about the O-line because you go against NC State's defensive line. They don't have the guys at the same size of caliber as SC's defensive line or front seven for that matter. And you can't get a push on 4th and 1 or in the goal line. That's kind of a red flag for us. But I think the good news, though, is that if we run into a situation like that, I think we can rely on Carr to find the open people and give us a pass game if we don't have that run game show up, which we didn't have last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's – but at the same time, I mean, that was NC State as well. So, you know, it's another big test for the boys to see how much they've grown in the past few weeks. And I really hope the defense goes B to A on USC's offense, man. I want to see like a 38-17, you know,
Woo!
just lay it to these guys.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like
They're all happy about a win against a mediocre Big Ten team.
yeah.
And now they got to come into South Bend and play against what we would like to think is a good team, if not a great team. But just give it to them, man.
Yeah.
Just lay it on them.
This is your chance. This is your chance, but you're going to have to play a tidy game and take advantage of your opportunities when you get them. Carr's going to have a better game passing. That defense can't have any big lapses, like catch balls when they're thrown to you. Like, it's just a big moment, man. You're going to see this is the true measuring stick of how much you've developed from week 2 on. You beat a few teams here impressively, but I'm not impressed by those teams. Now you got a real chance. And I need the Notre Dame program to be pissed off about those first 2 games and have an axe to grind to show that that's not who they are.
Yep. 100%. And you don't need those stupid penalties either in this game, man. They got to clean that up too.
Yep. You
can't. Boubacar Traore can't be doing the hand signals and defensive guys get in the offensive players' faces, man. Play within the whistle, lay it on them, but then get back in the huddle, man. Let's get to the next play.
Yeah. You got to put it all together here, man. You got to put it all together here. And I don't know. It's a big opportunity, and the season is literally on the line. It's not a hyperbole. The season is on the line.
Yeah.
So it's a big moment. Yep. Big moment.
When I was watching the show last night, who was Tim talking about that they traded out at safety? I think he was saying that Johnson was it Stroman that started at safety?
Was it Stroman? And then were they talking about Devontae Smith's role as well and his being unavailable to play? It's
gotcha.
Yeah, so probably that. And then like the usage of Hobbs early in the year, they thought he could do a lot more in the secondary than he could. And he's had a limited role since then, back there in the secondary. And then Devontae Smith's inability to be healthy is a problem. Yeah, so it took them a while to figure out some personnel on the back end.
Yeah. And Hobbs had a tough start to season too, but good for him for getting that pick. I know that's probably a good confidence booster for him, and
yeah,
he was struggling in the first couple games there. So good for him, just sticking with it, man, and just making a play when his name's called. So good for him. And
yeah,
I'm nervous about Gray though. That guy still is getting beat, man. Even against NC State, there was times where he's a step or two behind the receiver, man. He is very wishy-washy. On one hand, he makes great plays for us, and then there's on the other hand, it's like,
yeah,
as a casual view, you're like, what are you doing, man? Like, why is your guy that wide open? And then you go to the other side, you got Leonard Moore, and that guy is like as locked down as it gets, man. It's pretty nice to have that.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. There's been ups, there's been downs, and now is a true measuring stick of how far this team has come since first 2 losses. So I want to see what they're going to do. Everything's on the line. I'm hopeful, but I have anxiety at the same time. And let's see how the week progresses.
Yeah, definitely, man. So right on, dude. Enjoy the tailgate, man. I wish I could be there, but pretty expensive plane ticket from the West Coast. So go Irish, man, and hope you guys have a great day out there on Saturday, man.
Thanks a lot, man. We're gonna have fun and support the boys. Thank you. I'll give you another. You guys want more of these stories? I'll give you one more. Every Halloween, there were a couple Halloweens where I literally drove my car around the different cemeteries I oversaw after dark on a Halloween. Every Halloween, after Halloween, the morning after, you would find ritualistic, weird stuff at the cemetery, dead animals, and like how do you describe it? Like the ritualistic, like wood shapings they make with weird signs, and you would see like squirrels and raccoons. Like, yeah, people were out there doing all sorts of weird, ritualistic, weird stuff, like all over on Halloween. And for a couple years where it was like bad, I'd be driving around looking for people. Dude, I wish it was teenagers. This was like teenage stuff is like, let's go drink beer, behind the graveyard when we're underage. This was deeper and darker than that. Like this was ritualistic on animals in the graveyard on Halloween, trying to summon dark spirits. Like there was some weird stuff that I would see or got reported to me the day after Halloween every year. There's some freaks out there, man. No doubt about that. So that was always weird. And then the other thing is, personally, in 12 years, I never experienced anything supernatural, a ghost, spirits or whatever. I never had. All of my groundsmen, some of them that have been doing it for 25, 30 years, they never did either. But a few times a year, there'd be a couple of these like witchy ladies or like mediums or whatever that would walk around and like do their incense and be like, oh, this is really, this person's very unsettled. And it's like a lot of Civil War people that had really bad deaths and no closure. Like there's a lot of Civil War people there where their souls are still not at rest. And these ladies would come. I go, whatever you're doing, do it out there and don't come near me if you're stirring up these spirits. But it's a lot of unrest with the mediums that feel like they can sense that. Like it's a lot of war stuff where there's just untimely death and no closure. A lot of bad Civil War spirits is what I hear around this area. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but I never experienced any supernatural weird stuff dealing with caskets and death and burial and all that. I never did. Never did. I know that I get asked that a lot. I never experienced any of it. I want to let the spirits that are at rest. I got enough problems. I don't need any angry spirits. Unless it's a cold drink at the tailgate. All right, you guys, that's a good spot to end the show. I got a few calls. Most of them are usual listeners, the people that listen, throughout the day while they're walking. So that's going to be it. Interesting turn there down the cemetery path. Very interesting life, very interesting job. Not for everybody. You got to have a weird personality to be able to deal with it. And I tried to do a good job for 12 years. But it's hard, man. And then when you get good at it, you become the problem guy. That's the issue. When you get good at dealing with the public, you become the problem guy. And it's like, somebody had the wrong record and we buried somebody's dad in the wrong grave. Who wants to go tell the family that? John, like, go for it. You know what I mean? So that's the problem with being a good people person, is you start having to deal with the problems. Anyways. All right, you guys. Yeah, I want to be a gravedigger someday. It's a hard job. Even though you're not doing it by hand, it's a hard job. When you have 30 below temperatures and ice and snow and wind whipping, think of how hard it is for me to hand you a sheet that says row 28, grave 7, and you got to go dig it. That's a tough life. Those guys make a good living off the union contract with the diocese too. It's a tough life in the winter digging those graves. You got to lay like the night before the grave, if the grave's 6 by 8 or whatever, you lay a metal tin, layer it with charcoal, light it, put a lid on it, and the thing smokes like a grill, just enough to get you through the frost line. Very, very interesting industry. Anyways, thank you for heated tractors. Some of them, yes. Some of them, no. Never lost a body, but cremations get lost in the mail. I've never lost a body. I know where those were, but the cremations, sometimes they get lost in the mail like anything else. And somebody will call and go, I mailed my mom from Florida. Where is she? I say, I don't know. I don't got her. I used to get urns sent to me all the time with no identification. Literally, people would just send mom's urn from across the country and it shows up to me and it had no name and no marking. How am I supposed to know who's in there that's dead? Jewelry, that's the big thing, man. I can't tell you how many people, they wanted mom to get buried with all the wedding rings and all the jewelry. Right before they closed the casket the last time, that one daughter-in-law slides in there, acts like she's crying, takes the jewelry off, pockets it. Then we bury the mom. I'm telling you, this happens a lot. You know how many people we've dug up because there's a family debate on where jewelry disappeared, and we'll dig somebody up just to see if mom has the rings on and the necklace and whatever, and it's worth a lot of money? I'm serious. This is the stuff that happens. This is the stuff that happens. It's wild. So yeah, that's interesting. And we've dug up a bunch of people, plans change, legal debates, jewelry, whatever. And when you dig people up, how they look depends totally on the specific ground they're in. If they are above the waterline, I've pulled people out that look like they could get up and do a dance for you, and the suit looks good and they look great. If you're under the waterline, you pull people up and it's mush, basically. You're like mush in a skeleton. It all depends on the waterline. All depends on the waterline. If you're above it, you could look good a long time. If you're below it, water's always going to win. Water always wins. It finds a spot. So that's the answer on that. When you pull somebody up, what do they look? Pulled up a dude, died 20 years ago, looked great. He's above the waterline in a high spot. Somebody else could be in there a year, but if they're below the waterline, mush. So it is what it is. It's not a job that's for everybody. I did it a long time. I would much rather yell about football. See you guys on Monday Night Raw.